like a rainbow.
Good afternoon, everybody. I think starting off with a song like that brings so much emotion. One of the great lyrics, true colours like a rainbow. I think that sort of sums up, from what I know, the life of your aarathy. Welcome, everybody. I know that today is not necessarily going to be an easy day, but I really hope that today will be a wonderful day for you to be able to begin your healing process as we say goodbye to your aarathy. My name is Oliver, and I'd like to welcome you here as we gather and honour and celebrate the life of Aarathy Nimishamba Harriet Kumar, whether you are here in person or, of course, whether you are watching online. I would like to acknowledge the traditional owners of the land on which we gather, the Darug Wallamutta people. We pay our respects to elders of the past and present and to those of the future, and acknowledge the spiritual connection to country. I'd also like to acknowledge any Torres Strait Islander or Aboriginal people that may be present here today. I've had the honour and the privilege of being able to create today's ceremony with much help from Neil and Karen specifically as well. And although this is the first time we've met face to face due to obvious reasons, it's with great privilege and a great honour, like I said, to be able to be here with all of you, to be able to take you through today's ceremony for your aarathy. Today I know the ceremony has been created with as much of aarathy as possible. Though roses weren't necessarily her favourite flower, I was told earlier, finding frangipanis at this time of year can prove to be quite difficult. And perhaps that was Arathy's way of just making things a little bit difficult for Karen and family before she left. And I believe that's kind of the person that she was, with an incredible wit and a dry sense of humour. After today's service, if you would like to attend, there will be refreshments being served in the Wallamata Function Centre behind this chapel that you are welcome to join in with friends and family to be able to continue to share the memories and the stories that you have of your aarathy. So please make your way over there once the service has concluded, if you would like. Today, as we share stories and reminisce, and like I said, share with each other during refreshments, I acknowledge that there'll be lots of different emotions that you may be feeling. Grief has a very interesting way of manifesting itself very differently to each different person, and in very different ways and in very different times. I was saying to Neil earlier that it can feel like 1 minute to the next can be completely different sort of array of emotions. It can be from frustration to anger to happiness to sadness. But my only piece of advice or encouragement as you start to feel these emotions and feelings is to really allow yourself to feel them. Studies have proven that these feelings are what help us through a journey when we're dealing with the loss of somebody that we love. So for what it's worth, that's my piece of advice and encouragement to you all. And you may not have had a chance to necessarily digest the reality of losing somebody like aarathy. This time of year, there's so much going on with Christmas and New Year, and we're also faced with a different variant of COVID as well. So there's a lot going on around us. And I think it's a really great time, perhaps today and right now even, that we take this opportunity, that we all allow ourselves to be silent for a moment. And during this time, as we're all silent, I'd like to ask you, in whatever way it means to you, to invite aarathy here, to invite her spirit here as we say goodbye. Let's try and forget about everything that happened today leading up to this moment, the traffic, whatever it may have been. Let's really allow ourselves right now to be present here in this moment. And like I said, in whatever way that means to you, bring aarathy's presence here. As we're quiet, feel free to think about your last conversation with aarathy, your last memory you have, your favourite memory perhaps, or something that perhaps was left unsaid. I'd like to give you this time now, as we all be silent, to really allow yourself to feel that and to have that connection with aarathy and with each other, of course. So feel free to bow your heads if you like, keep your eyes open, keep them closed, whatever feels most comfortable for you. But let's just take a moment where we can all be silent together. Thank you. Today is an opportunity for us to farewell somebody that you loved very dearly. Aarathy was a daughter, a sister, a partner and a wife. She was a wife to Karen Wong, together for almost 18 years and married since February 2019. And of course, a mother to Gabe and Willow, two of her greatest life achievements and perhaps two of her biggest priorities as well. She was born in Chingola, Zambia, spent her childhood in Muscat, Oman and Melbourne before moving here to Sydney during her adolescent years. Aarathy was born on July 16, 1982 and died to metastatic pancreatic cancer on December 18 this year. Though I, as mentioned, didn't have the chance, unfortunately, of meeting Aarathy in person, I was told she liked a laugh, had a quick wit and a dry sense of humour. I've been told that she valued kindness, compassion, transparency and honesty. She was authentic, self-deprecating, and I was told suffered no fools. She was generous, compassionate, and has been described as a great teacher. At work, she was generous with her time, her effort, and her knowledge, and was extremely nurturing and supportive of all her colleagues. As I said, she prioritised Gabe and Willow and Karen above all else, and her friends she described or thought of as being as close to her as her family. We're going to hear from those that actually lived in those moments with Aarathy, and I'd like to start now by please inviting Neil to share some words.
Thank you, Oliver. And thank you all for being here in person and on the live stream. We know that in these times it is more complex than usual, and who knows what usual is these days. We've been inundated with messages of love, and we are so appreciative for all the support. Aarathy would have loathed all the fuss, people going out of their way for her, when of course we all know she would have been the first to be there for others. Aarathy is 2 years and 3 days older than me, her birthday being the 16th of July, mine being the 19th. As kids, we resisted and fought against joint birthday parties. As adults, we'd fight with Mum to just get it over and done with in one hit and avoid 2 family gatherings. Our childhood was spread across Oman, Melbourne, and then finally Sydney. We arrived in Melbourne in 1991 with those strange, homogenous international accents that gave away expat brats. In Melbourne, we formed a gang with our cousins, Jeet and Naresh, and Aarathy played with the boys and was the leader of the pack. Her favourite Ninja Turtle was Leonardo, chosen because he was the leader, and as the youngest, I was assigned Donatello, everyone's least favourite turtle. Our gang did all the cringy things you do at that age. We made a pop group, we sung loudly in the backyard, and we practiced our dance moves. Our poor parents and neighbours' suffering was matched by our general lack of any discernible talent. She was a better dancer than me, but that isn't saying much. It was still all elbows and finger points, a common trait amongst a broader family if you've ever been fortunate enough to be at one of our family gatherings. Aarathy remained the leader of the group and has been the glue that has bound all the cousins together. She was always a good child. Her face was buried in a book. She took up every instrument and never got in trouble. That's not to say she was an angel. She was just better at getting away with it. My parties or gatherings at home were always found out, whereas she just knew how to cover her tracks. She totaled Dad's Merc when she was in year 12 without so much as a talking to. Her car smelt like ladies' deodorant and cigarettes, and I would somehow get the blame. That's what credibility gets you. The world may have seemed unfair for me, but Aarathy stepped in and fought my battles without fail. There are plenty of other stories I could share, but I'll save them for when Gabe and Willow are a little bit older. We were both academically gifted, but whereas my report cards always reflected unrealised potential, Aarathy had the drive and discipline to really shine. She won scholarships at Kilmington Grammar, and when we moved to Sydney, she won a place at James Roos. With all of her intelligence, Aarathy wanted to make the world a better place and make positive impacts on people's lives. She was never interested in corporate life, and she studied psychology before going on to work with children with autism and related disorders. She took so much pride in the changes she made to these kids' lives and lived through their success. It was during her internship at CARD that she met Karen, the love of her life. They're each other's humans. They're through thick and thin. Their biggest achievement, of course, Gabriel and Willow, pride and joy, 2 children who have inherited their parents' love, compassion and empathy. She was a loving and patient mother who lived for her family and fought for them. Just as she fought for me. I could always rely on Aarathy for non-judgmental counsel and would call her when things weren't going right and she would provide me with calmness and clarity when I needed it most. She would also keep me on the straight and narrow and would never shy away from letting me know that I'd been a complete, total and utter pork chop. She was very, very good at calling me an idiot. She did so in her last days, when she did not have many words left, but I'm glad she did get that last satisfaction. I never wanted to disappoint her, and this has shaped me more than she ever knew. Aarathy was always fearless. On a family trip to Cairns, Dad reminded me of this not long ago. She wanted to go skydiving, and Mum called Dad to get his opinion. When he gave the all clear, I stayed in the car. Too much of a wuss, and I was unable to watch her jump out of a plane. On the same trip, we went to the Great Barrier Reef, and on the way out, she spent the whole time in the bathroom with seasickness. Of course, I mocked her the whole way. On the way back, she got her revenge, and I was sick, literally, all over the table in front of a boat full of tourists. Aarathy may have mocked me, but she also held my head and brought me water to make sure I was okay. She was always up for the challenge. She did the hard things, and it built up her fortitude and resilience. Aarathy never based a decision on how hard it would be. She was always very binary. It was either this is right or this is wrong, and it led to a fulfilled life. She fought this battle right to the end, but still always put everyone else ahead of her. I'm grateful that we spent so much time together, and I'm at a loss that my big sister is no longer here to give me counsel, to call me an idiot, and then give me a hug and cook for me, even though she no longer had her sense of taste and would have been exhausted from treatment. And that's my sister. The world is worse off for her loss, but we remember her spirit, her love of life. In her battle, she never asked for sympathy or for anything. She put others first and hated that people would be feeling sorry for her. And in that spirit, I close with these words. Do not stand at my grave and weep. I'm not there, I do not sleep. I'm 1,000 winds that blow. I'm the diamond glints on the snow. I'm the sunlight on ripened grain. I'm the gentle autumn's rain. When you awaken in the morning's hush, I'm swift uplifting rush. Of quiet birds in circle flight, I'm soft star that shines at night. Do not stand at my grave and cry, I'm not there, I did not die.
Thank you, Neil. Now, for one of the probably most difficult things Karen has ever had to do in her life, we're going to invite her now to share some words also.
Okay, hello. I need my glasses. Thank you so much for being here today. Looking around the room, it's truly humbling to see so many people from all the different pages of Aarathy's world in one place. She'd be so embarrassed to be the centre of attention, but here we are. Aarathy and I met over 20 years ago, and next February will be our 3rd wedding anniversary, but as Neil said, it's really 18 years of friendship and joint love and being together. So to prepare for today, I read over our wedding vows, and I noticed something. Where I promised that our future would be long and bright, Aarathy talked about being grateful for now. She really, lived in the moment, and it's something that I learnt from her. She wanted to celebrate what we had at that moment when she felt good and strong, and she was so excited to share it with everybody. Aarathy lived in service of others. She was a private person, so she helped quietly in the background without needing any acknowledgement. If she knew you wanted help, she'd find a way to give it to you. It might be finding the nearest banh mi, locating a deleted email, setting up your new phone or my phone, all of my devices. You might have wondered out loud about something, and then in a few minutes' time she'd have 3 interesting facts or a pro and con list about the thing that you were thinking about possibly buying but not too sure. You just looked at a picture. But she never minded making the effort. She actually never saw it as effortful at all, I think, if it was, again, in service of others. Helping others extended beyond family and friends, and together we founded TLC. So much of her motivation centred around helping clients and families understand that autism was just different, but not less than. And she was very generous with staff and colleagues. She stepped out of her comfort zone and embraced a new role as a managing director, becoming a self-taught business person. With her, TLC thrived, and we built a company that we were so very proud of. She earned the respect of parents and therapists and continued to be generous with her time, her brains and her heart, even when she was tired and so sick with chemotherapy. And she loved nothing more than thinking of our TLC family as one of her own, and loved mixing cocktails for everyone at games night at our place. But her 2 favourite people in the world were Gabe and Willow, and I was happy to stand in line after them. Even before she became a mother, Neil and her cousins benefited from her nurturing. She changed nappies, knew how to support a baby's head, shushed like a pro, and then as everyone got older, she did all the naughty things that, again, she never got caught for doing. It was no surprise then that she would confidently do the same with our kids. Aarathy loved and advocated for our children fiercely. She was their voice when they were little, and she spoke loud and often until they were heard. All she ever wanted was them to feel safe in this world. It hurts to think of all the things she won't get to have the chance to do. It's unfair because she wasn't done sharing herself with them. As children, they see the protective, cautious, and unconditionally loving side of her. But what about that daredevil, the risk-taker, the hopeless romantic, the sides that you only realise as you get older? So that's my job, to show them the different sides of Aarathy they haven't had the opportunity to see, and to teach a lesson she intended to teach, except driving lessons. So I'm outsourcing that one, most likely, to Neil or Michael. Okay, where was I? So Gabe and Willow. As you get older, you'll hear all her stories, her adventures, her discoveries, her successes, and yes, her epic fails and her confessions, because together they made Amma the mother that you know. I'm counting on Neil and all her cousins to help me out here. It goes without saying that we didn't have enough time with Aarathy, and it seems incomprehensible to be standing up here talking about her like this. But I know, still, I'm inexplicably lucky to have shared her life and to be thoroughly loved by her. I'm more confident, sure of myself, and unapologetic about who I am. I think that's because she saw this in me every day. She held up the mirror until I could see it for myself. So every day I will be grateful that we shared a home, a family, and an authentic, genuine love. I don't think I'm prepared for a life without her, but in her children and in your company, I know I'll always feel her nearby.
Thank you, Karen. We have a very special item which Shivani is going to sing for us. So Shivani, if you'd like to make your way up, the microphone is over there. Yeah, you want to use this one? Absolutely. Thank you.
Aarathy was great at loving her wife, loving her children, loving all those involved in her life. What I admired most was the way that she expressed her love in so many unique and different ways. She constantly told me how much she loved me and how proud she was of me, and I only hope that she knows how much I love and will continue to love her. When the rain is blowing in your face and the whole world is on your case, I could offer you a warm embrace to make you feel my love. When the evening shadows and the stars appear and there is no one there to dry your tears, I could hold you for a million years to make you feel my love. I know you haven't made your mind up yet, but I would never do you wrong. I've known it from the moment that we met, no doubt in my mind where you belong. I go hungry, I go black and blue, I go crawling down the avenue. No, there's nothing that I wouldn't do to make you feel my love. The storms are raging on the rolling seas and on the highway of regrets. The winds have changed, they're blowing wild and free. You ain't seen nothing like her yet. I could make you happy, make your dreams come true. Nothing that I wouldn't do. Go to the ends of the earth for you to make you feel my love, to make you feel my love.
Oh, just passing face masks around. Is that yours, Karen? Very COVID safe. Thank you, Shivani, for that song. How beautiful. Certainly not an easy task to do. Not an easy song, but especially in a time such as this. Shankar Ganesh is going to share a tribute, some words for us now. Shankari. Shankari, my apologies.
I was deeply honoured when Aarathy called and asked if I would be a witness at her wedding. And I'm privileged that Karen asked me to share with you today what Aarathy is to me. For those of you that don't know me, I'm Shankari, Surabiaka's cousin. Aarathy isn't just my niece. She's my trustworthy friend, my confidant, my advisor when I was researching to purchase something, my shoulder to cry on, a big sister to my 3 kids, as she was there whenever they needed her. And the list goes on. She's caring, kind, respectful, so loving, generous, passionate, funny, patient, supportive, fiercely loyal, and calm. We could talk for hours and it still wouldn't be enough. We shared so many common values, and in fact, Surabhiaka tells me often how much Aarathy is like me. She got me. Sometimes words didn't need to be said between us. Even when she was in pain, when I came to see her in hospital, she said how much trouble it would have been. It goes to show her nature of always thinking of others. I was there when you were born. You stayed with my parents and our family for 6 weeks in Zambia when Surabhiaka and Kumarana entrusted you with Appa and Amma, and you were my little live doll. You were there at my wedding. You and Neil stayed with us in New Zealand one school holiday and made me watch the movie Scream. Can't believe I did that for you. You were there to help when Shivesh was born. We came to Sydney to celebrate your 16th, 18th, and 21st birthdays. Our drinking sessions talking all night long about anything and everything. My family were part of your wedding, which was a big honour. I loved our family of 8 FaceTime calls, especially during COVID, with our Udis. After not being able to see each other for 2 years, we all picked up right where we left off during these Easter holidays, spending quality time, and I'm ever so grateful for that. These are just a few memories I will cherish. I will miss our chats, our laughs, your advice, your unconditional love, and your voice. I can hear you call me Shanks with love. I could call up and tell you anything, as you never judged me. You were not just there for me, but for Shivesh, Shivani, and Sham, giving them advice, providing guidance, encouragement, support, understanding, expressing how proud you are of them constantly, and most of all, love. You listened with intent and empathy. I'm proud that Aarathy called us her tribe. As I said to you, Aarathy, my kids and I will always be here for your family. So Karen, Gabe, and Willow, please remember that. We will continue to keep the Zimmer traditions alive in honour of you. Surabhiaka, Kumarana, and Neil, there will be a big void in your hearts forever. So please lean on those that love you for support. Aarathy, I'm super proud of you and love you very much, now and forever.
Thank you. Gabe and Willow are going to share a poem with us. I've got a microphone over here.
Do you want to use this microphone? Sorry, I just moved it.
If you can keep your head when all about you are losing theirs and blaming it on you. If you can trust yourself when all men doubt you, but trust allowance for their doubting too. If you can wait and not be tired of waiting, or being lied about, don't deal in lies. Or being hated, don't give way to hating. And yet don't look too good nor talk too wise. If you can dream and not make dreams your master, if you can think and not make the thoughts your aim, if you can meet with triumph and disaster and treat those two impostors just the same. If you can bear to hear the truth you've spoken, twisted by knaves to make a trap for fools, or watch the things you gave your life to broken, and stood and build 'em up with worn-out tools. If you can make one heap of all your winnings and risk it on one turn of pitch and toss, and lose and start again at your beginnings, and never breathe a word about your loss, if you can force your heart and nerve and sinew to serve your turn long after they are gone. And so hold on when there is nothing in you except the will which says to them, hold on. If you can talk with crowds and keep your virtue, or walk with kings nor lose the common touch. If neither foes nor loving friends can hurt you, if all men count on you, but none too much, if you can fill the unforgiving minute with 60 seconds worth of distance run, yours is the earth and everything that's in it. And which is more, you'll be a man, my son.
Well done. And for those that didn't recognise it, that is If by Rudyard Kipling, the poem. Well done. Beautifully said. There's been a photo tribute so carefully put together, and if you'd like to direct your attention to the screens above, we'll see some highlights of Aarathy's life in photographs. Thank you.
It's just another night, and I'm staring at the moon. I saw a shooting star and thought of you. I sang a lullaby by the waterside and knew if you were here, I'd sing to you. You're on the other side as the skyline splits in two, miles away from seeing you. But I can see the stars from America. I wonder, do you see them too? So open your eyes and see the way our horizons meet, and all of the lights will lead into the night with me. And I know these scars will bleed, but both of our hearts bleed. All of these stars will guide us home. I can hear your heart on the radio. It beats. They're playing Chasing Cars, and I thought of us. Back to the time you were lying next to me. I looked across and fell in love, and so I took your hand back through lamplit streets and knew everything led back to you. So can you see the stars over Amsterdam? Hear the song my heart is beating to. So open your eyes and see the way our horizons meet, and all of the lights Open your eyes and see the way our horizons meet, and all of the lights will lead into the night with me. And I know these scars will bleed, but both of our hearts bleed. All of these stars will guide us on and I can see the stars from America.
Wow, so much colour and life in those photographs. It really was like a rainbow. The people that are here in the room, you're each other's support. You're the ones who from this moment on are going to continue the legacy and continue the memories alive. So as you leave this place, may I really encourage you to look out for each other, to speak to each other, to contact each other as often as you feel necessary, and to continue to keep the memories alive by sharing stories and sharing memories forevermore. We are coming soon to the end of the ceremony, and just as a reminder, after the ceremony, please make your way to the Wallamata Function Centre behind me for some refreshments and to be able to, like I said, continue those conversations going and those memories to share and to support and to love each other. May I ask you all please to be upstanding? Thank you. Let's direct our attention and all of our energy over to Aarathy there. And in your own way, as I'm sharing these words, think about the Aarathy that she was to you. In your own way, with your own energy, let's show her how grateful we were for her being in our lives, or being in your lives, and for everything that she taught you. And everything that's been said today, I think, only scratches the surface. But hearing those things for the first time myself, I can tell that there's so much more below. So continue to remember that. But let's use this moment now to really express our gratitude to Aarathy and what she was and for her being in all of your lives. In loving memories, we say farewell to Aarathy, a farewell and a deep, sincere thank you. Aarathy, we thank you for your life, a life that will be remembered with lots of love. We are grateful of the time that you had with us, and we're thankful that we could share this with you. Thank you for the good times and your hard work. Thank you for your love and for your laughter. Thank you, Aarathy, most of all, for being you. You leave this world a richer place than you found it. Aarathy, we now leave you in peace, and with respect, we bid you farewell.
The Caribbean Disco Show. Walk all night on a drink of rum. Daylight come and we wanna go home. Stop banana till the morning come. Daylight come and we wanna go home. Come Mr. Tallyman, tally me banana. Daylight come and we wanna again.